goal in 20 consecutive games, has scored a point in 44 consecutive games, and yet in the last 5 games has only scored 3 goals, has been shut out of 4 of the 5 last games, had a hat trick in 1, and lost his consecutive point scoring record. So he's trying to get on track. And so the combination of these 2 teams trying to fight for playoff position and get the home field advantage, Gregoriev trying to get himself back into the scoring race, it's going to be an interesting game.
As far as New York is concerned, they're the defending champions. Now, last year in New York, in a 1-team division, there was only 1 division last year. They had 6 clubs. They did not finish in first place, but they upset Houston, and they beat Philadelphia for the final. Well, this year, they're about to win their first divisional race, and they appear right now to be the clear-cut winner in this league.
We did a game for New York last night in Detroit. The record now is 18-5, and I think they probably have the second best record in all of professional sports as far as won-loss record. Probably only the Philadelphia team, the Flyers here in hockey, has a better won-loss record. But they just dominated the game last night. Jungle scored 6 goals, as he did against Detroit earlier, I guess last Sunday, scored 6 goals. So he has Detroit's number, and he was just a dominating player. But you're right, anything can happen in the playoffs, and the home field record is going to be critical, because in the first round of the playoffs, as in the second round, home field advantage will give that team a chance to play before their home crowd.
As far as the playoffs are concerned, by the way, it's the number 1 teams in each division will get a bye. We'll be back with more of the playoff picture, today's game, after these messages.
Spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
We're at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, where today the St. Louis Steamers take on the Philadelphia Fever. St. Louis about to kick off. The visiting team in the Major Indoor Soccer League gets the first and third quarter kickoff, and the home team gets the kickoff the second and fourth periods. There's the MISL official ball, rocket red, as Carl Rose stands with Tony Graham, ready for referee
Kyle.
Joe Matchnick's.
Look at the very interesting St. Louis uniform with that Syad blue and white.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Syad, big Syad. And this Philadelphia club in the purple, red, and white uniforms. That's Bobby Smith clearing the ball to Freddie Gagarev, the great scorer who's had a tough go lately. Now here's Steve Petcher, who didn't play in the last game we did last week in St. Louis because of a suspension, and it's deflected into the crowd. Emilio John in there for St. Louis, and Petcher, Ty Kehoe, Sam Bick is in there. I believe Craney's in there. Philadelphia battling as is St. Louis, for one of the playoff spots. Hard shot, wide of the mark. Matt Robinson in the goal for Philadelphia. Emilio John of St. Louis, and rushing in to roll the ball back to Matt Kennedy. Eric Delabar is in the goal for St. Louis this afternoon. St. Louis now putting it in play. Leave it for Keogh, a hard shot, a nice foot save by Kennedy. Nice setup for Keogh. Emilio John banks it in front with the goalkeeper out. And now it's Philadelphia racing. Sheridan with the ball on the right side. Looking in front, Gurgura just missed. Just a shade behind him. Now it's Petcher fouling, elbowing along the boards.
Jim Petcher and Bobby Smith of Philadelphia, two of the players who started tonight for these two teams, were involved in a big fracas last time. Both were kicked out and ejected from the game for fighting, and it occurred right here at the Spectrum.
All right, free kick coming up for Philadelphia. Lob into the St. Louis zone. St. Louis has Lukic in the game now. Craney's shot. Delabar made the save in front. Just by. Now it's Philadelphia putting on pressure. Lukic with the intercept. Lukic backs it over here to Cuenca. Manny Cuenca, who will be in the All-Star game in St. Louis on the 27th, representing the St. Louis Steamers. Here's Craney along the boards. Craney trying to get around the defender. Sheridan does, and whiplashes a shot right on goal. I don't know if he was intending to do that, Kyle, or just put the ball in front, but it had the effect of a shot on goal.
Well, he was fighting there in the corner, and one of the more unique aspects of indoor soccer is the use of the boards in position. Players often will just play the ball into the corner rather than taking a shot in order to gain position for their team. As Philadelphia knocks down the ball, Rose, a good play.
Rose, who will also be in the All-Star game for the Central Division. Craney plays it to Bellinger, who will also be in the All-Star game. We got some All-Stars out here today. Philadelphia has some All-Stars we'll be telling you about. Gurgura, one of them. Craney couldn't really turn on that very well. They directed toward goal, and it misplayed it off his leg and into the stand. MISL Soccer, Jim Karvellas, Kyle Rote Jr., Spectrum, Philadelphia. No score in the game. 12:49 to play in the first quarter.
Referee tonight, Joe Matchnick. We see point in. There's Pat McBride, who will coach the Central Division in the All-Star game, which is going to be played on the 27th to an expected sellout crowd.
Kennedy clearing the ball high off the glass. There's Lukic staying on the ball. There's Manny Cuenca. Cuenca's shot is knocked down by Doc Watson. Almost knocked in the goal by Lukic. Kennedy was out. St. Louis unlucky that time.
Doc Lawson, who will be another player in the All-Star game, plays it up to Gurgura, who plays it off the wall in the corner.
All right, now it's Philadelphia in front, and picking it off is Eric Delabar. Nice throw out here to Emilio John. Emilio John looking for a man. He fires. Emilio actually had a man in front of him. He really stayed on the ball too long, Kyle.
John had Tony Graham breaking. Graham, who scored more goals for his team last year than any other player, broke down, but apparently John couldn't get the ball to him quick enough.
Banged off the boards. Craney now puts it in front, and a whistle.
There's an example of a player, Jim, just playing the ball into the corner, trying to play it off the arc of the boards to get the rebound into the slot.
I carried a long throw out to Freddie Gurgura. Gurgura. Joey Fink in the game for Philadelphia. Really a club that started slowly, then had a great middle of the season, but now they've been going back the other way. And the big job now for the Philadelphia club is to get themselves ready, Kyle, for the playoffs. And in fact, they've got to qualify first.
Right there's Doc Lawson, 22. But Philadelphia, really the only bright spot recently has been Joey Fink, who scored 5 goals in his last 2 games. And indeed, against their last game against Buffalo, had 4 goals on just 7 shots.
There's a hard shot, and Kennedy with a save. A hard shot by Rose. Boy, he really nailed it. He's a fine all-around player.
He is, and we'll be visiting with Carl during halftime. He's a relatively unknown player, was not with anyone before the star this year, yet has come on and made the All-Star team.
In front, knocked away. Actually, Rose was with the New York club last year, and he was cut
by New York
this year before the season. He was going to quit soccer, and his agent made some inquiries, got the St. Louis organization to give him a shot, and that was a very fortunate thing for St. Louis. He's ended up being one of their top 2 or 3 players. Here's Graham playing it to Emilio John. Good defense by Doc Lawson. Talk about good players and tough. That's Mr. Lawson. Good pass to Fink. And now it's Lemon running on the left wing. Philadelphia on the attack in this Steelers game. Lemon outruns Cuenca, bangs it in front, and it's cleared there by Bellinger. Now to Graham. Graham gets rid of it. And Doc Lawson ranging back to pick it up for Philadelphia. No one's done the cords yet. St. Louis had a couple of pretty good opportunities. Lukic just missed with the goalkeeper out, but there's still no score. Steve Reed is in there, number 23, by the way. He was just signed. Reed, who'd what a shot and a save. Great shot by Fink. Reed now battling for the ball, but there's some good work over there. I believe that's Graham. Now to Cuenca. Cuenca racing up the right wing. In front. Good defensive work that time. The defender partially got a foot on that ball.
And they caught St. Louis on the change, so it was really only a 2-on-4 fast break, which is not going to result in very much.
Kelly made a good defensive play. There's a shot that just hit the post. Fortunate again for Philadelphia. Here's Lukic. Been kind of an even game. St. Louis has had the better chances, though. Bick. Now to Keogh. Back to Sammy Bick. Sam blocked down by Watson. In front. Now it's Watson again. Watson and Lawson in there for Philly defending. Shot goal!
Manny Cuenca from Lukic. As Philadelphia had the ball stolen in their own corner.
Fans here a little upset. Let's watch it again.
Here's the replay. Lukic steals it, gets it over to Cuenca, number 7, who's 7 yards out, puts it in to put St. Louis up 1-0.
St. Louis goal scored by number 7, Manuel Quinza. The assist number 22, Dan Lukic.
To go. And St. Louis on top 1-0.
Manuel Quinza scores for St. Louis. The assist.
Right, Steve Reed getting it back to Doc Lawson. Lawson is a lot like Rose in the sense of they're good, hard defenders, but they'll move up on the attack. Now here's Clyde Watson. Watson in Philadelphia. So Lawson trying to get around. Catcher and a whistle blows. Holding foul against Graham. So it'll be a free kick for Philadelphia.
Referee with his hand up in the air signifies that it's an indirect kick, meaning that ball must touch another player before it goes into the goal.
Stevie Reed backheels the ball. The shot by Watson is knocked down by Petcher, who gets it up here on the left side to Emilio John. It's offside. 3-line pass. Offside, so it'll belong now. A free kick coming up for Philadelphia. And some changes. We have Rose, Craney, Sam Bick stays in there. Emilio John stays in there. And Graham stays in there. Bobby Smith in now for Philadelphia. With Watson, with Steve Reed. The shot bangs off the glass. Damir Leite in for Philadelphia, number 15. The pass for Leite broken up by St. Louis. Here's Bobby Smith. Steve Reed. Nice ball over here for Watson. Craney playing him. A battle along the boards. Comes free to Smith. And Bobby, not a very good cross-field pass. Rose picked it off. No score in the game. Jim Karvellas, Kyle Rote Jr., 8:20 to play first quarter. Kyle?
Smith has been sick lately. He's had the flu, and that is not the full excuse for that pass. But Bobby has a good chance. Good save.
Lukic had a good opportunity for the second time today. Lukic came on about 3 weeks ago with, and actually he plays the outdoor game right here in Philadelphia, so it's kind of a homecoming for him. But when we saw him last week, Kyle, he didn't look too mobile. It almost looked as if he wasn't in shape yet. He's a little more mobile today. A hard shot at a goal by Emilio John. Now, what's the call? Yes. Emilio John with a goal. I was watching the official.
It looked like he might have
said
been.
Yes. Counted by Mr. John. It's 2-0.
Here we'll see it again inside. It went through the legs
Amazing.
of the defender, off the head of the goalkeeper, Matt Kennedy, and into the goal. So deflected off of 2 Philadelphia players, and yet the impetus on the shot was by Emilio John, so he'll get credit for the goal. Good shot of Ty Keogh.
That's an incredible goal. It was right between the legs of the defender, and he hit it when it was between the legs of the defender and lifted over the shoulder of Matt Kennedy, who had no chance. And St. Louis smelling a playoff berth, leading 2-0. But it's only in the first quarter. We have 7:35 to play in the quarter. Manny Cuenca battling Bobby Smith, and it's going to be a holding foul against Bob Smith. Bob Smith calling it the other way, but his gesture didn't count.
Bobby Smith, who is second in the league right now in penalty minutes with 31, is being pressed by Carl Rose, who happens to lead the league right now with 35.
Levniak is in for Philadelphia, number 12. So is Lete. Eddie Sheridan in on defense. Now the interception by Petcher, but he couldn't control the ball well enough. Had he controlled it, here's Sammy Bick, and a foul on Bick. I was going to say, had he controlled it, they'd have had a dangerous opportunity, or a good opportunity, dangerous situation for Philadelphia.
Bobby Smith, who wears number 73, as we've explained in past telecasts, representing the year in which he came in professional soccer, a year in which an almost all-American team won the outdoor championship.
All right, with the ball now along the boards is Lete being hammered there. Well, not hammered, but being belabored. That's a better word and more descriptive. And it's finally cleared by St. Louis. Comes down to Eddie Sheridan. He's a good, tough defender. Sheridan. Pass into the zone intended for Levniak, but it was picked off. Now Bobby Smith racing through. Bobby deflects it. Nice effort by Bobby Smith. And now the whistle blows, and Bobby Smith with a foul. Pushing Steve Petcher. Petcher and Smith, very similar type players. Both very physical, demonstrative, hard players.
And when Bobby gets going, gets his rhythm going, there you see Bobby Smith disappointed that he couldn't continue to pass the ball to himself as he approached Alec Delabar, the St. Louis Steamer goalkeeper.
Lete came off the field for St. Louis, limping a little bit. Here's Petcher in front. I'll tell you, Kennedy had some trouble with that. Now the long throw. Bick tried to intercept it, and Gergiev got free for a moment, but Petcher covers up. And now Sam knocks it away. Hard shot. Well, not a hard shot, but a shot out goal, picked off by Delabar. Philly hasn't had any terrific opportunities. One time early in the game, Gergiev had a chance in front, but couldn't control the ball. But it's been St. Louis doing most of the attacking, Kyle.
And Gergiev there angry at his teammates for not closing up. St. Louis so far has done a good job of playing man-to-man defense, and Gergiev wanting to get the ball back in the St. Louis zone. Felt if his teammates had helped him play defense, he could have done so.
Lawson to Gergiev at the line. Levniak get it back nicely to Fred. In front, knocked away. Good defensive play, because in front, ready to let it go, was McWilliams, number 6 of Philadelphia. Now Lukic and Cuenca working. Cuenca gets a return pass from Lukic. Sheridan's on him. Cuenca now has Creaney going back door. He didn't see him. Now Rose with it. Rose goes for Creaney. Headshot. And easily handled by Kennedy, whose long throw was picked off by Rose at midfield. 2-0 St. Louis on top. Keogh comes in the game now, changing on the fly to give Sam Bick some rest. Keogh will be playing back in defense. Bellinger also in for St. Louis. Bellinger, and now a foul is going to be called against Ivan Levniak of Philadelphia.
Did very well with that name. That's a difficult one. Spelled H.
I mean, easy one.
Levnjac.
Shot and a goal!
Tony Bellinger puts St. Louis up 3-0 with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Bellinger, in what appears to be a non-offensive position, turns and goes into open space and hits the ball back across the direction of diving goalkeeper Matt Kennedy.
That was really a well-taken shot. He didn't want to pound it. What was important there was accuracy, and he chipped a very pretty shot into the other corner, and Kennedy was just off balance. No way he could handle it. Kyle, Philadelphia looks like a very dispirited club.
Well, you can't imagine that here with still 5 minutes to go in the first quarter, they could be behind with their home crowd and with a record that's much better than St. Louis's.
St. Louis, again, this is where statistics sometimes don't tell the story. St. Louis has been a very tough club the last 7 or 8 games. They've really been a very improved team. Early on, they couldn't win a game. All they could do was draw people. Now they're starting to get together as a team, and they smell the playoffs. And although they've got a way to go, there's only one way for them to get in the playoffs, and that's to play the way they're playing today. Emilio John, who scored a goal, is on that front line. Bellinger's moving forward. He just made it 3-0 St. Louis. Interception, Doc Lawson. Gagura on the right side. Levniak on the left side. To Levniak, and Delabar made the save. Bellinger cleared it around the boards. Graham is fouled. Held up and fouled.
The Philadelphia fans don't like it at all, as Joe Matchnick, our referee, has first called McWilliams and then Levniak.
McBride, St. Louis coach, playing a lot of different combinations today. He's sending 1 and 2 guys out to kind of change things. He just put Lukic out there. Now Petcher comes in for Rose in the back line. Looks like he's trying to keep everyone fresh. St. Louis club, as always, whether it's outdoor or indoor, it's played one way, and that's aggressively. And if you're going to play hard in this game, you got to keep changing people. Now Cuenca just came back on the field. So it's Cuenca and Lukic. They change on the fly. Out comes Sammy Bick again. Bellinger, who scored the goal, comes back to get a rest. Cuenca shot off the mark, and lucky that Kennedy picked it off before it went in.
He's got a sore hand. See it again, back off the wall. He landed on his hand wrong as the ball came back and hit him in the body.
Cuenca brings it under control with his thigh very nicely. Showed you some good skill there. Now Lukic and Cuenca, and Bick was making a run, but Lawson got to it first, chipped it into the crowd. There won't be a penalty this time. Let's talk about that hitting it into the crowd, Kyle. We may have some viewers that if you hit the ball in the crowd, in the opinion of the referee, if it's to kind of alleviate pressure, which that wasn't, because here's the offensive team putting it in play, the referee can't call a 2-minute delay of game penalty.
And we've seen this referee call many during the year. And really, it makes our defenders, where in outdoor soccer, coaches sometimes want them to kick it up as high in the stands as they possibly can to alleviate pressure. It keeps them from doing so, and makes indoor soccer, tries to make indoor soccer defensive ability more skillful than just power and trying to remove the ball from the defensive area.
All right, it's a 3-0 game if you're tuning in. St. Louis on top of Philadelphia. We're in Philadelphia's spectrum. Here comes Doc Lawson now. Cuenca tries to cut him off. Still anyone's ball. Lawson lobbed it in front. Nobody there to pick it off for Philadelphia. Cleared, and out comes Kennedy to stop it and set things moving the other way for Philadelphia. Fink plays the ball back. Randy Garber on the field now for Philadelphia, number 21. Bobby Smith comes back in. Smith and Kelly on defense. They have Fink and Garber and Gagura. That's Philadelphia. But now it's St. Louis attacking again. Interception by Lukic. Creaney, get it to Lukic. Lukic wheeling around. Nice pass. Petcher. Now getting it to Creaney, making a run on the other side. Creaney got it under control, and Cuenca was coming in on goal, and Matt Kennedy made a nice play.
Good, courageous play by our goalkeeper, Matt Kennedy, who came out having to use his hands to protect the ball, left his face available for Cuenca.
All right, time remaining, 1:38 to play in the first quarter. Emilio John, he goes with Garber. Emilio controlling it, nice skill, little back heel pass. St. Louis playing very well. Keogh Got the ball off to Graham. Quick little guy. Quick guys go very well in this game. You've got to be quick. It's close quarters. And you've got to do something with the ball quickly as well, Kyle.
And you need to get off the field if you're out of any energy at all, which one of the outdoor coaches said is the most difficult skill. As Petcher misfires.
And a foul and a 2-minute penalty.
We have 2 minutes called on Petcher. I'm sure he's going to dispute that. He felt that Freddie Grigoriev took a dive. We'll see it here again as Petcher loses the ball. He does grab Grigoriev right there with his hand. I think Grigoriev went a little bit further with the hold than maybe was necessary, but he got the penalty.
All right, we'll be back with the more action after this message. An advantage of the game.
Look who's leaping into HBO Sports in February. Following the tradition of excellence in sports and spectacle, HBO continues with Winter Carnival 1980, a dynamic showcase filled with world pro skiing, an exclusive preview of Olympic figure skating, and highlights of the 100th anniversary celebration at Aspen.
So far this year, Jim, St. Louis has done the worst job in the league at killing penalties. For every penalty that they've had, they've given up about half a goal. Or for every two, they've given up a goal. And on the other hand, Philadelphia has not done very well. They've only scored on 25% of the man advantage chances that they've had.
All right, here comes Philadelphia on the attack now. They're down 3-1. Lemon to Stevie Reed. Reed fires, knocked down. Actually, inadvertently knocked down by Levniak of Philadelphia. Now to Lemon. Reed, almost broken up, is by St. Louis. Now it's Rose running, man for man against Lemon, holds it up. Philadelphia gets back now. Hard shot over the top by Rose. Well, a minute to go on the penalty, exactly. They've killed half of it, St. Louis has.
And I guess by comparison, I should mention, I said Philadelphia's 25% ability. Detroit, on the other hand, scores at about 60% of their man advantage opportunities.
All right. That is the end of the first quarter with the score, St. Louis 3, Philadelphia 0. We'll be back in just a moment.
Score against first quarter, St. Louis Steelers 3, Philadelphia Fever 0. We do have a little more friends, as we said earlier, from the Atlantic Area Association. Advertising and promoting games to the middle of the Atlantic North marketing area. They're selling some milk. I know if you want to be on section G and T in the concourse. Remember, stop out there and see them. Milk's the one. Also, we want to thank our friends from the Willingboro Cycle Center. Many of you here taking advantage of the student day offer on Willingboro 8. When they buy the 7 tickets for the student 5 at 1. We've got some great new cycles up there from Willingboro. Designed, really hope you have a lot of fun. They're on the concourse behind the section M. So when you play tickets, go up there and take a look at those during the intermissions. And also, the upcoming Fever home game is coming Monday 7:05 p.m. start. Get out early as usual because of the holiday. The Pittsburgh Spirit playing Fever here at Checkerdome. Tickets for this and all remaining Fever home games are on sale in the concourse.
Great Toronto Maple Leafs New York Ranger rivalry will resume tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time as the clubs battle at Madison Square Garden. MSG Sports will be on hand to catch all the exciting action involving stars like Phil Esposito, Barry Beck, Ian Turnbull, and Anders Henberg. Tune in to most of these same cable systems, 7:30 NHL. Right in the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Jim Karvellas and Kyle Rote Jr. MISL Soccer. again, as we said at the top of the show, if you weren't around when we started, pick up an article, pick up a magazine called Sports Illustrated. I think you're familiar with it, and an article in there about indoor soccer and specifically about the MISL. Actually, it treats both MISL and NASL, but this team here, the St. Louis team, is really the featured team in the article.
And here we see Emilio Romero, a St. Louis player, having his knee worked on. But you're right, Jim. The St. Louis team was highlighted, and in particular, it was nice to see J.D. Reed, the author of that article, mention that he felt that by comparison, outdoor soccer was pale compared with indoor soccer. As we get ready for the start of the second quarter, Philadelphia having the kickoff.
Well, Kyle, you know, I love outdoor soccer as well. In many respects, Kyle, I think they are two different games. I think it's very difficult to compare.
Well, I don't like being forced to take a choice, and I don't think we have to, nor do the players. I think they complement one another, and they don't compete with one another.
That's right. I think the important thing is that with so many American youngsters playing soccer, there just aren't enough. There are not enough teams for them to play on it. And what the NASL and MISL indoor leagues have done is really provided more jobs for youngsters. And it looks as if there's going to be expansion for sure in the MISL. And that'll be more jobs and more opportunities for young Americans to develop their skills. I think that's the big plus that's come out of this whole indoor soccer boom.
And it does, because when you have a team like St. Louis that has 11 members on their team that have played for the U.S. Olympic or national teams, it's giving them more and more confidence as players.
All right, keep in mind now, Philadelphia playing with a man advantage. They have 5 more seconds to take advantage, if you will. Lemon in front. Gergerev, shot knocked down beautifully by Sammy Bick. And now this one goes over the top by Levniak. It's been a tough 5 games for Freddie Gergerev.
Yes, it has. As we mentioned at the top of the show, a player like Freddie, who is at one point had scored a point in every game he'd ever played in the MISL until a few weeks ago, all of a sudden has gone 4 games without a goal, and in his last 5 only really hit the goal once or in one game and scored 3 goals in that game, so obviously he played well there, but that's not Freddie's way of playing, and obviously it's affected the whole way in which Philadelphia is playing.
All right, Ty Keogh brings it up now, and Emilio John with it. Emilio has scored one of the 3 St. Louis goals. Cuenca with the ball, he scored one of the goals. The other was scored by Bellinger. Now here's Keogh. Teams at equal strength. St. Louis survived the penalty. Hard shot by Cuenca. Good save by Matt Kennedy that time. He got a finger on it. Keogh keeps it into Emilio John. Plays it between the legs of Bobby Smith, but now knocked away from him. Roddy Martinovich in for Philadelphia on defense, but now it's Philadelphia on offense. Levniak trying to play it to McWilliams. Cuenca has it. Philadelphia looks a little more aggressive now, Kyle. Bobby Smith off the head of Keogh, so it'll be a kick in or a corner kick for Philadelphia. It went over the goal line, last touch by the defensive player, corner kick Philly. Good feed from Gergerev. He couldn't get it down. Cuenca, nice little touch over here to Ty Keogh. Keogh rolls it to open space for Sammy Bick. St. Louis on offense. Keogh plays it to Cuenca. Tries to turn. Good play by Randy Martinovich, number 5, to get in the way of Cuenca, who was about to score his 2nd goal of the game.
Philadelphia players collapsing now on the St. Louis attackers as they come in, but they're not matching up very well because they left 3 players that time on 1 and allowed Sammy Bick to get wide open in front of the goal.
All right, Petcher runs into Gergerev. No foul call. Now Freddie playing some defense. Martinovich, nice move around Emilio John. Plays a little behind McWilliams, and it gives Rose a chance to set up defensively. Bobby Smith pass, comes back to McWilliams off the mark. Nice idea by Philadelphia that time, though. They haven't put much together offensively.
Foul by
Levniak.
on Tony Graham, excuse me, Jim.
Levniak committed the foul. Graham was knocked down. Obvious foul. No argument there. Kyle, we may take a look at those standings when we get a chance to tell the people how important a game this is for both clubs, but you'll see how important after we tell you just how close these standings are. All right, here's Gergerev. Freddie, good pass. Fake, and a great play that time by Rose. Rose just got a toe on it, Kyle.
Just deflected the ball as Joey Fink broke down the left side off a good pass from Gergerev. Tried to toe the ball, a two-line or a two-red line pass. Let's take a look at on replay of that save. There you see Joey Fink. He's going to toe it with the outside of his right foot into the corner. Rose comes sliding through and knocks it into the corner. Turn was beat at the point. Excuse me, Delabar was beat at that moment. So the save has to go to Carl Rose.
Delabar made the play. Bellinger was tying up Gergerev, and Delabar didn't wait for Freddie to turn. He just came out and made the play. Bobby Smith misplayed the ball. Let's see if it's going to cost Philadelphia. Graham. Play on, says the official. That was an advantage rule. I think that would have been a foul on Smitty, but St. Louis had the advantage. They let him play on. Martinovich of Philadelphia. 10:47 to play in the second quarter. 4 15-minute quarters in MISL indoor soccer. St. Louis on top 3-0. First period goals by Cuenca, by Bellinger, and by Emilio John. Fake in there for Philadelphia. Off the board. Lukic. Bobby Smith looking for the ball. Righty Martinovich on goal. St. Louis has 14 St. Louis products on this team. Now a 2-on-1. Rose is all alone. Here it comes. Goal! And what a great forward pass by Cuenca, Kyle.
Cuenca sensing that Carl Rose was coming up the middle. Tremendous use of speed by Carl Rose. There we see him. As St. Louis broke out of defense, the ball comes out past Kennedy. Rose puts it underneath Kennedy. A difficult shot. Kept it low enough, and there's the happy Canadian Carl Rose, who grew up in London. Was cut by the New York Arrows, and that's his 11th goal of the year.
4-0 St. Louis on top. 10:10 to play in the first half. Doc Lawson and Reed off the mark, and Cuenca saves in the slot. Kelly running with Emilio John. Kennedy clears to his own line to Joey Fink. Around Cuenca nicely. Here comes Joey. In front, Reed missed. Gergerev missed, and cleared by Sammy Bick.
Great clearance by Bick as St. Louis is 3-on-2 if they can get the ball back the middle. Good steal by Kelly.
Kelly to Fink. Knocked away by Craney. Good defensive play by Craney.
And here goes St. Louis again, 3-on-2, 4-on-2.
Cuenca deflected. Oh, hit the crossbar. Kennedy has been very busy, Kyle.
Philadelphia has recently signed another goalkeeper, their 6th of the year. We're about to see the replay, the crossbar, the shot. It'll hit the crossbar, come down, and we see that it did not go over the line, which it's the position of the ball that determines whether it's a goal or not. As we're back in live action, Tony Graham called for tripping. Kelly, number 3 of Philadelphia.
Kyle, I think it's important we tell the people that for it to be a goal, the complete ball must be over the goal line. Not part of it. The complete ball must be over the goal line. All right, here's Philadelphia. Down 4-0, but there's plenty of time to play. 8:49 in the second quarter. Sammy Bick broken up by Doc Watson. Watson will see action in the All-Star game in St. Louis on the 27th. Can't be there in person, and there's only about 3,000 seats left, I'm told. You can see it right here on Madison Square Garden Sports on the 27th of February. That's a Wednesday night. Consult your local listings for time on that game. Next week we'll be in Wichita, Kyle. And that Wichita club has really had a great year, haven't they? They're in second place now.
Right, we might as well look at the standings as St. Louis with another chance. Ty Keogh, looking though he was, as he's going to set up his friend Dick Lukic. Turns and hits the shot. Here we'll see it. There's Ty Keogh with the ball at his feet, looking like he's going to pass, but he turns, hits it with the toe of his left foot. It may have gone between the feet of our goalkeeper, Matt Kennedy. So Keogh puts St. Louis up 5-0.
Kyle, I've been told that the toughest shot for a goalkeeper to stop is one on the ground. I think that Kennedy was looking for the shot to come up in the air, and when they put it on the ground, he was just handcuffed with it. And I think it's tough because when it's on the ground, you've got to bend down to get it. If it's up in the air, you can stop it with your hand.
Right, it's always more difficult to dive down than it is just to stand there. And in all fairness to Kennedy, he's getting very little support from his defenders.
We've said this before, Philadelphia just not getting back on defense. We've had so many 2-on-1 breaks, 3-on-1, 3-on-2 breaks, Kyle. You're right, it's not really been his fault. Graham gets away from Watson momentarily, but then lost the ball. Bellinger keeps it in. Lukic going to the boards to dig for it with Doc Lawson. Lukic got a foot on it, but Gergiev has it. Doc Lawson running up the right side, gets a good pass from Freddie Gergiev. Now Bellinger caught up with Doc, and Petcher stripped Doc of the ball. Philadelphia just can't get themselves together, it seems, Kyle. They can't string 2 or 3 passes together.
No, in Philadelphia, having lost, I believe, 3 of their first 4 games, start out very poorly, has strung together sets of 4 winning games in a row. But at this point, they don't look like a team that's going to dominate the playoffs or play as well as they did last year when they eliminated Houston, last year's regular season champion, in the first round of the playoffs.
Conceding a New York win in this division, there are 3 teams that are battling for the other 2 playoff spots. That would be Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. Pittsburgh is the hottest team in the league. But the point is that Philadelphia is going to really be battling both of those clubs for the 3rd or 2nd playoff spot.
And Pittsburgh, now having won 10 games in a row, finds itself in 2nd place with a record of 15-10, 4 games behind New York. The Fever 4.5 with a 14-10 record, and Buffalo 11-12, 7 games back, but still within distance of garnering one of those playoff spots. On the other hand, in the Central Division, as the ball is played into the crowd, popcorn was knocked up in his hair and all over the fans as they enjoy that. St. Louis right now finds itself in 5th place in the Central Division, but they're only 5.5 games back. In Detroit, the 3rd place team is 3 games back. Wichita, on the other hand, 12-12, 2.5 games back. And Cleveland in 4th place, 4 games back. So those 4 teams, Wichita, Detroit, Cleveland, and St. Louis, all within 2.5 to 3 games of one another.
Shot by Cuenca, knocked down by Kelly. Now Bobby Smith tries to bring it out of his own zone. Not a very good pass by Bobby. Philadelphia's passing has been way off the mark.
I'm sure Georgie O'Neill, the coach of Philadelphia, doesn't understand it. His assistant Lou Meal, I can see shaking his head. This team has more skill than they're showing.
All right, Cuenca with it. St. Louis on top 5-0 with 5:40 to play in the first half. Creaney now goes to the postman, who happened to be Emilio John. Now Kelly races out, but no real support. He's got the girl up on the other side. Let's see if he banks it to him. He banks it in front. It's amazing because when Philadelphia's on defense, they seem they're a man shy. When they're on offense, they seem to be a man shy. I don't know how that's happening. McWilliams had a good opportunity there, but couldn't slot it. Kelly intercepts the clearing pass, and Gagura, it seemed out of frustration, just wound up and whacked it into the crowd.
I think so, Jim. McWilliams, the All-American from Philadelphia Textile, had the ball down in the corner. He was left wide open. He plays it across, hoping that if there's another player there for Philadelphia to put it in, Petcher lets it run by him. And Philadelphia, without a man in the slot, couldn't put the good pass away.
Bellinger gets rid of it. To Keogh and out of Bellinger. Bellinger off the boards to Lukic. Lukic, a lot of room, a lot of time for the St. Louis club. And the times
bounce up into the plexiglass. 4:45 remaining in the 2nd quarter, and the Steamers are really playing well this afternoon. We hope everybody's enjoying the St. Louis Steamers on KDNL TV 30 in St. Louis. Steamers return home Wednesday night, 7:30 game time against Houston. That's one we need to get back.
Tremendous in any sport, right? You don't want to let a Dr. J play, and you certainly don't want to let any St. Louis
great players in any sport have skill, Kyle. And if you allow them to show that skill by giving them room and time, they will destroy you. A great receiver in football, you give him a step. A great quarterback, you give him an extra second to throw it. And that's what we're saying here. On the other hand, St. Louis not really giving Philadelphia a lot of time to execute.
Not early in the game. At this point, they're going to let them run a little bit because they've been able to break so well. This last goal by Rose came off of a kind of a counterattack, which they seem to be doing well today.
Keogh trying to spin and go with the ball, actually inadvertently knocked it in the crowd. It should be Philadelphia's ball, and the referee did not see it.
Right, we're going to have a drop ball here.
Yeah. Well, you can't see everything out there, I guess. There's McWilliams. Kelly, nice play by Rose to knock it away, and now a little give and go. Lukic trying to go to Graham, and Garber made the play. Good thing he did. We'd have had another breakaway. Well, not another breakaway. We would have had a breakaway. St. Louis has scored 5 goals, all by different players, so they've gotten the team concept going. Gagura tries to touch it back to Lubnak. Garber, a nice fake on the boards. A shot. Delabar couldn't handle it, but lucky for St. Louis, it stayed out of the net. Lukic to Freddie. Gagura hangs it wide. Kelly, even though Freddie's had a tough go the last 5 games or so, he could break out and score 5 so quickly your head would spin.
Well, earlier this week, as Smith plays the ball back, Jungle of New York scored four goals in the space of about 3 minutes himself.
Hi, Philadelphia. Somehow you get the impression that if they could get on the board here and just get the lid off, they might be tough. What a save by Delabar. That was your best opportunity. And Freddie hit it well. Kelly, shot off the mark. Lubnak off the mark. Philly just missing, Kyle.
Seen some great goalkeeping in this stadium here.
What a save by Delabar. Delabar has come up very big here in the last minute or two. This has been Philly's best concentrated offensive effort of the game with 2:07 to play in the first half. Gagura. Freddie stripped to the ball, but he was fouled by Sammy Bick. Lukic coming out for St. Louis. Emilio John comes in. All right, Cuenca. He's got Emilio John in front. Let's see if he can get him the ball. Trying to beat Kelly by himself. Now he has an open man, Craney. Shot off the mark. Just off the mark by Craney. Nice work by Cuenca, who got the ball to Craney at the right time. Petcher. Off the boards behind Craney. Emilio John, who's been impressive up front. St. Louis looks like a different club, Kyle, than they did early in the year.
Much more organized. The addition of the 2 Yugoslavian players, Lukic being one that we've seen on the field tonight, the other player having not done too much for them at this point, but still also the American style, which Pat McBride has wanted to have of this team. It takes time to develop that as Delabar comes out and tries to clear the ball from the corner.
Graham comes in, Quank and Keogh, Cuenca and Craney come out. Craney limping a little bit. He's being attended to by the trainer on the bench. Free kick, Gagura. Blocked down in front. I tell you, Freddie takes some free kicks, but most people just try to get the ball in front. Freddie will nail you with it. Under a minute to play in the half. Jim Karvellas, Kyle Rote Jr., MISL Soccer, the game of the week. It's been all St. Louis's game. Bick, a nice job. Now, they almost had a 3-on-2 going, but Graham had a tough time controlling the ball off the boards. Now he plays it back to Keogh. St. Louis pops it in the zone. Emilio John, who tried to get it back to Graham, who was open but couldn't. Now he's fully turning it around with 30 seconds to play in the half. Nice play by Keogh. Boy, St. Louis has made good defensive plays. Petcher let it go right over his head to Delabar. You also get the impression, Kyle, that the way the St. Louis club has been playing the last 3 weeks or so, should they get into the playoffs, they might be tough to handle because they're building a lot of confidence.
As Petcher tries to play it off the back glass, kind of disappointed that his leg was a bit too strong, put it up into the stands. But often players will just dump the ball into the corners or off the glass, as we often see in hockey occur.
Long ball. Doc Watson, that's a 3-line pass. Hit it over 3 lines in the air. So that's an offside. It belongs to St. Louis now with 5 seconds. They're going to get a free kick. Let's see if they just wind up and hit it on goal at Matt Kennedy. So Graham, look up at the line. Lukic, and now the lob toward goal. That's it. Totally ought to be alert there. Well, it was a Philadelphia subpar performance in the first half, but give some credit to a St. Louis club that was very, very scrappy and happy. That's the end of the first half. We'll be back in just a moment.
The All-Star game, Tracy Lewicki, and here's what Tracy had to say.
We're at halftime in Philadelphia, and our halftime guest is a face that probably is not too familiar, and yet he represents one of the most important families in all of Major Indoor Soccer League action. This is Tracy Lewicki. He's the brother of 2 other people that I'll let him introduce. Tracy, tell us a little bit about your family's involvement in indoor soccer.
Well, the first to be involved was Terry, and he was in Houston working for the building, the Summit, when the league was formed. And he then later moved to Philadelphia and now is with New York. In the process, he got younger brother Timmy involved, who's now the sales manager and assistant general manager of the St. Louis Steamers. I've gotten involved by doing some writing for MISL magazine and working with Terry on television production of some of the games of different teams around the league, and went to work about 3 weeks ago for the Major Indoor Soccer League to put together the first All-Star game, which will be in St. Louis February 27th.
And of course, that's the reason that we're talking with Tracy today, is to talk about that All-Star game. But I must ask you, do you have any soccer background yourself?
None at all. I was a basketball player. All 3 of us were basketball players, but all 3 of us know a good thing when we see it, and this is the hottest new game in the country. There's no doubt about it.
Well, with your own background in education, which I assume has been since you got out of school,
right.
It would appear that you would have a good ability to judge the value of indoor soccer for our young American players.
Well, I think soccer is a magnificent game. I spent a long time coaching when I first got into education. And I think it's a great game because size doesn't matter, which is often a factor when you're playing basketball or football or whatever. Even ability doesn't matter for a young kid. He can go out and run up and down the field and be involved in the game, whatever his level of ability. It's a great participation sport.
Okay, let's talk about the All-Star game coming up on the 27th. Why do you think they picked St. Louis as the site for our first Major Indoor Soccer League All-Star game?
Well, an All-Star game is really a celebrity game. It's a celebration, and to be awarded an All-Star game is a real honor. And usually cities like New York or Philadelphia or whatever would be the natural place to have that kind of event in its first year. But as I'm sure the viewers know, because they've seen some of the games from St. Louis this year, this response of the fans in St. Louis to this game has been absolutely incredible. Even the people in management in St. Louis don't believe it. Unless you've been in the Checkerdome when they've had a capacity crowd screaming for the Steamers, you just haven't been at a sporting event, I don't think. Earl Foreman came to St. Louis about 6 weeks ago and saw his first game there in the Checkerdome, and that night they had 19,000 people there, and it was a wild game. And I think at that point, Earl knew where he wanted to put the All-Star game.
That sold the game. And as many of our viewers know, last week we carried the Hartford-St. Louis game, which was an exciting game, even though it hosted the 2 worst teams, I guess, in the league at the time. And it is amazing that St. Louis, which has not done well initially, could do so well with their people.
It's amazing because the people in St. Louis are so in love with the game that they aren't even that aware of St. Louis's record. Only lately have they begun talking about the playoffs. St. Louis is a different team at home. They play much, much better in front of the fans, and the fans have really fallen in love with the team. From the opening announcement of the players on, it's just a wild celebration, and I've never seen anything like it.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, some of the players that we'll see here today from St. Louis, Steve Petcher, Tony Bellinger, Manny Cuenca, and probably one other, Carl Rose will be representing that team. Fred Grigurev from Philadelphia, without a doubt, will be on the team, and Georgie O'Neill, the coach, will be there. Pat McBride, the coach of St. Louis, will be there. And we just want to wish you all the very best, and hope our fans will stay tuned and watch that game, which will be on many of these same cable systems, because it's going to display some of the greatest soccer talent in the world, and it's going to be in an atmosphere that you had a lot to do with. Tracy Lywicki, thank you so much for visiting with us, and we'll be back with more halftime activities right after this.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank
Rose, a fine defender of this St. Louis club, and he's going to be in action in the All-Star game. So here's the interview with Carl Rose.
We're back at halftime in Philadelphia with the guest of our second section, with a face that is not too familiar unless you happen to watch the penalty box, where Carl Rose happens to be, or unless you're going to be watching the All-Star game next week, because Carl Rose was one of the highest selected players, highest voted players to go into the All-Star game. And that's a tremendous accomplishment for a young man who started out his soccer career in London, then went to Canada, and last year was cut by the New York Arrows and didn't play there, and this year came on trial with the St. Louis Steamers and has been playing brilliantly for them this year. Carl, it's good to have you at halftime.
Thank you very much.
One of the questions, obviously, St. Louis is a team that has been, I guess, predominated by Americans, and Pat McBride, your coach, likes to think of his team as the great American experiment, and yet you and Manny Quick and maybe one or two other players are the only non-St. Louis players, let alone non-American players on the team. How difficult is that for you?
Oh, not difficult at all, really. We all get along really well, so we don't think of it that way. We just think of, you know, going out and giving our best every game we play, and we've put all that behind. I mean, he wants something, and he's got what he wants, I think, mainly, so he needs some other players, and we happen to be those.
Yeah. I wonder why, with so many St. Louis players on the team, last week when I was in town, I started asking the fans, who's your favorite player? And without a doubt, it was between you and Manny Quick as the most favorite player, and yet neither one of you were born there. Why is that?
I don't know. Fans just like us, I guess. I don't know what it is.
Well, the style of your play is very fluid. You've got a lot of skill, as your players are giving you a hard time. Why is it that you're called Pearl?
I don't know. I went to Canada about 12 years ago, and ever since I started playing there, the team I played for, the owner just gave me that nickname, and it's stuck ever since. I can't get rid of it. It's just there.
Does it have anything to do with Pelé being the black pearl of soccer?
I don't know. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to ask him.
I'm sure any similarities would be appreciated by you.
They would. But, you know, he's the best, and that's all there is to that.
You also play for the Canadian national team, and with that, you're going to be playing against Steve Petcher and Tony Bellinger and Ty Keogh and Greg Mikowski and a whole bunch of other St. Louis players who right now are your teammates. Is that going to be a difficult transition for you?
No. Doesn't matter. As long as I'm on a team, I play for that team, and that's all that matters to me.
So if you have a chance to tackle Tony Bellinger, you're not going to shy away from that at all?
Oh, no, no way. I don't think he would either. So we'll both go in hard if we play against each other, and, you know, after the game, well, we're friends again. Yeah.
What's it like playing in St. Louis? You've had 4 of the 5 top record crowds in the history of the Major Indoor Soccer League. As a player, what can they add to your team?
They add a goal a game, at least. And I think, I don't know, it gets me going, and I think it gets everyone on our team going when we go out there and we see the crowd we have, because we're not a winning team and we're getting the crowds. And we try so hard, you know, and a lot of times you just see guys that want to cry after they lose on the road even. And
they're throwing balls down here, actually. That's real nice teammates. But that shows the kind of relationship they have with you. You're a co-captain of the team, and yet you came in to the team unheralded and an unknown. You must have a tremendous relationship with them.
Well, we all get along really well, and, you know, we're always kidding each other, and a lot of them are kidding me all the time about being on the All-Star team, the co-captain, and it's just fun. I'm just having a good time with everyone.
Give me just, if you can, a quick assessment of how you would rate players like Grigurev, Jungle, Segota, Hoskavy, compared with some of the players that you've played against outdoors and some of the great strikers that you've seen in England.
I'd rate them right up there, especially like in the indoor game, especially. You have to give them a 10, all of them, because if you.
All right, in Philadelphia, both clubs ready for the start of the second half. Steamers 5, the homestanding Fever of Philadelphia 0. And Kyle, I would have loved to have been in the dressing room to hear what Mr. O'Neill had to say to his Beaver players.
Well, if you could have gotten it on a tape, you couldn't have played it over the public airways anyway. But you could bet that some of that Irish blood in him was steaming, because particularly before a home crowd, they shouldn't be playing this way. And St. Louis, as we mentioned before the half closed, has only been 2-9 on the road. And they've never been a great road team, and yet today they're dominating play.
It looks like we have a new goalkeeper.
Right, he's Pete Arnatoff. Pete played at the University of San Francisco, was a member of a team that 3 times won the NCAA championship. That's not Hartman, that's Pete Arnatoff, though it said Hartman on our screen.
That's Pete Arnatoff, not Hartman, in the goal. Arnatoff, who, as Kyle said, was just signed, so he's getting his baptism of fire. Made a good save on a shot by Graham. Set up this corner kick in front. Petcher's shot is saved by Arnatoff. And now here's Emilio John. St. Louis comes out applying pressure, don't they? Keogh, a hard shot off the boards. Keogh gets it back. So the pace of the game looks the same to me. Man all alone. Emilio John saved. I believe that was Steve Reed who got back there and made the save. Great play by Reed.
Either Steve Reed or Doc Lawson. Let's see it on replay. As he turns, here comes Lawson. And there's Reed, both defenders going into the goal, and either one of them hit it, but it shows our young defenders who might be watching today a skill that they should employ. When your goalkeeper comes out of the nets, go back in there for him.
All right, St. Louis, they're playing their game, the same game they've been playing, aggressive. Now let's see what Philadelphia can do with them. Right now it's Graham getting back to Keogh. Levniak out there for Philadelphia, along with Kelly and Reed and Lawson and Gigurev. Graham and Emilio John and Bick, Craney and Petcher for St. Louis. A shot easily handled by Arnatoff. Rolls it out to Doc Lawson. 5-0 game in favor of St. Louis. Just started the 3rd period of play. Played a minute and a half. Here comes Stevie Reed. Shot bangs off the glass. Craney going with Levniak. Referee says play on. Dusek got a foot on the ball. Gigurev got it in front, but nobody there to take advantage.
Temporarily, St. Louis, excuse me, Jim, temporarily St. Louis had 6 players on the field, but apparently the referee did not see it. Philadelphia calling for the penalty, which would have been a 2-minute penalty against them.
Reed, bad pass. Gigurev trying to slice it off to Reed. Not a very good pass by Fred. Good idea, bad pass. It appears as if St. Louis has played with 6 men the entire game. The 6 outfield players. All right, Petcher. Now to Manny Cuenca. Again, St. Louis getting room. Back to Craney. Looks like they're playing with a man advantage, doesn't it? Craney comes through, and a good save by Arnatoff. Good save. Lukic battling very well against Doc Lawson. Lukic kind of big and strong as well as is Doc.
Not too many people have won a fight with Doc Lawson, whether it's going after a ball or otherwise.
Bounces into the crowd. It belongs to Philadelphia. There's Manny Cuenca, one of the most popular players on the St. Louis team. Fans love him. Scores goals. And he's exciting.
Looks like he may be partially injured as he is replaced. Cuenca, who leads his team in scoring goals this year.
I think Manny's a little shaken up. It doesn't appear to be anything too serious. Trainer having a few words with him down at the bench. Lawson puts it in play off the boards to Steve Reed. Reed was an outstanding U.S. college player who played the outdoor game in New England and the indoor game at New England. Was just recently signed. He's a goal scorer. He's also played in the American Soccer League. Lawson is obstructed by Emilio John. Levniak. That's tenacious St. Louis defense. Boy, Bellinger just stayed right with him. Didn't give him any room at all. Rose back to Delabar.
Bellinger, who's only about 150 pounds, is one of the most devastating tacklers in soccer, probably. And it shows our young people that you don't have to be a giant to be a tenacious player,
well.
a strong player.
A little bit of heart and technique, right,
Yes,
Kyle?
Good, skillful player. As we've seen tonight, this afternoon, he's already scored a goal.
Ball into the crowd. The game has been penalty-free, really. There haven't been many at all.
Only one at this point, Steve Petcher for holding.
Now the referee says, let's do it again. We said that St. Louis had 14 St. Louis kids in the club. Philadelphia has 10 players on their team that are either from Philadelphia, play collegiately or professionally in the town. So there's a strong local flavor on the Philadelphia side as well. The only difference is that the 14 St. Louis guys are from St. Louis. Born and raised. The left-footed shot by Gagura, saved by Delabar, tough angle. And here comes St. Louis roaring again. Rose trying to pass it to Emilio John. St. Louis trying to win their 9th game of the year. They've dropped 14. Doc Lawson, excuse me, bangs it into the crowd. Now a change for both clubs. Lawson's going to come out. Craney comes in for St. Louis, as does Petcher and Bick and Cuenca and Lukic. Now Lemon is in there with Martinovich. This is for Philly now. Sheridan. Gagurov stays on, and Fink. Craney. Lukic. Now to Cuenca. Leaves it for Petcher and takes off. And gets it back to Cuenca. Craney in the slot. Let's see if Manny can get him the ball. And the second half goalkeeper,
Pete Arnautoff.
Arnautoff, who they just signed, as Kyle indicated. It's looked pretty good, actually. He's looked steady out there, Kyle. He's not very nervous at all.
No, and when you do play that way, you give your teammates a lot of confidence, and they'll let you have the ball as they did there.
Well, an Olympic hockey score at the end of 2, the United States 3 and Norway 1. That's what the crowd is cheering about. It's been one of the very few things this Philly crowd has had to cheer about all afternoon. How about the U.S. hockey team? Beating Czechoslovakia, tying Sweden. They figured to beat Norway. But they've been the big surprise in the Winter Olympics so far. Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Gagura! And now this crowd explodes.
Well, I don't know whether Freddie was inspired for the U.S. hockey team or not, but his first shot after that score was put up on the board. Here he is in the corner, a very bad angle, but the ball spins inside the heel of Delabar and goes into the goal for Fred Gagura as he puts Philadelphia finally on the scoreboard.
Freddie Gagura, boy, that was some goal. It appeared there was no angle at all.
Well, quite often,
Delabar must have thought the same thing.
Goalkeeper was at the near post, and quite often you just wind up and hit a shot hoping for the best, and in that case, the best was in the goal.
All right, 5-1. Let's see if that can inspire Philadelphia. Here comes Rose, knocked down by Lemon. St. Louis continues to put on pressure, though. Bellinger, he's got Lukic in front. He's got Craney on the other side. Cuenca's at the point. They go to Lukic inside, and a deflection and a goal. That was knocked in by Sheridan. Sheridan, the Philly defender, and it's 6-1. And boy, St. Louis just took that momentum right away, didn't they, Kyle?
Maybe Bellinger's second goal depends on whether he gets the ball to Lukic. A good one, too. It goes off the inside. Yes, Bellinger's going to get credit for the goal as it goes off Sheridan. That's Bellinger's second goal of the game, his 5th of the year. That's quite a thing for Tony to be able to get 2 goals in a game. A young defender who...
We'll be back with more MISL action in a moment.
St. Louis goal scored by number 6, Tony Bellinger. The assist number 22, Dusan Lukic. Time 5 minutes 41 seconds.
All right, so St. Louis has taken the 5-goal advantage again. They lead now 6-1. Delabar easily picks it off, fires out here, and heading into the crowd was Lemon.
St. Louis asking for a penalty, but he was under duress there in the midfield from Emilio John.
St. Louis on top of Philadelphia here in the Spectrum. Pass to Petcher now as St. Louis brings their defender up. Petcher deflects the ball in front. Actually, Fink got a piece of that. Here's Lemon for Philadelphia. Broken up by Petcher. They go to Gagura. Freddie's taking on 3 players and tackled away by Sammy Bick. Yeah, we've had St. Louis on television. This is the 4th time now. So remember, we had them in Wichita. They lost to the Wings. We've had them twice in St. Louis where they've won against Houston and in Hartford and now here in Philadelphia. So they've been a big part of our Madison Square Garden MISL Game of the Week package, and they performed very well. They lost the first game, but they've been winners ever since. And look out for this club in the playoffs if they get there, boy. I think they're going to give a lot of people a lot of trouble. And when they play them, if anybody has to play them in St. Louis, you can forget about that. Keogh off the mark, got behind Emilio John. All right, here's Kelly with the ball. And now to Lemon. 6-1, still a lot of time to go. 7:45 in the 3rd quarter. Jim Karvellas, Kyle Rote Jr. Delabar deflected in front. Sammy Bick rolls it right back to him.
Good play by Philadelphia as they're beginning to get themselves into the game. Had 2 people in the slot there as the ball was played well off the boards. Good chance for them.
All right, Randy Garber, number 21. Another fine young American player comes in for Philadelphia. He stays, is on with Kelly and Radovich, and now Watson in, and Gagurov stays there. Freddie plays a lot.
Well, if there's any player in the league that would be considered a one-man team, that doesn't mean he's the best individual player, but Philadelphia probably relies on him more than any team. Oh, a great goal by Lukic.
Lukic, a tremendous goal as he wheeled and fired into the far corner. And as we said before, Lukic looks a lot more active and mobile. Looks like he's gotten some wind, he's gotten in shape. And that was that's a professional goal right there, Kyle.
Gets the ball up, turns on the volley. Blasts it past Artinoff, who, as you said, Jim's getting a baptism by fire. And there's happy teammates lifting him up in the air. Lukic, his 2nd goal of the year.
St. Louis goals for number 22,
7-1 St. Louis. There's a 14-10 club, Philly, playing an 8-14 club at home. So the 14-10 club, Philly, is at home, and they're down 7-1. That's why you can't believe those stats. Can you believe that goal by Watson, though? Watson, the little guy, just snuck inside and side-footed in the net. And Philadelphia says, we're not dead yet. 7-2, St. Louis on top.
Great pass by Martinovic here in the corner. He plays it off the wall, and here comes Watson. Side foots it, beats the defender to the ball, beats Bellinger. That won't happen very often. As they've come back to just a 5-goal margin, with St. Louis ahead 7-2.
Martinovic gets an assist for Philadelphia. Artinoff clears it himself, or tries to. Keogh. Ty Keogh. How these St. Louis players have played for the U.S. Olympic team, the United States World Cup team. You know, you have to feel, Kyle, that because a lot of these kids grew up together, played on local teams from 7 years old on. Here comes Petcher. Go!
Great pass.
Artinoff came out. That's the only thing he could do, and Petcher really took it well, didn't he? And
Petcher not blasting the ball. Excuse me, Jim. Merely passes it into the goal. He kept it on goal. Here we'll see it. Pass has been made with the outside of the right foot. Petcher just plays it by Artinoff, who comes all the way out to try to block off the angle. Doesn't stop the ball. There's a very happy Steve Petcher, who was scoring his 8th goal, but in the last game between these two teams was given a red card for fighting. Doesn't look like a fighter there. The big smile on his face.
Yeah, he may not look like a fighter. I wouldn't want to get him mad at me, though, I'll tell you that. Look at Bellinger making the defensive play. This time he made the play on Watson as Gagurov tried to set up Mr. Watson. Mike Kelly clears it to Martinovic. And now Watson, he loses the ball. Look at this effort by Bellinger. Here he comes. Just missed the net, too. Graham St. Louis, an awesome club today. They lead 8-2, and they've just completely dominated this game. Here's Gagarev against Rose. That's a good matchup. Off the mark by Freddie. The aggressive Steamers of St. Louis. Boy, they've earned it all the way, Kyle. They're winning every. It seems any ball that's in question, they're winning it. Graham. Craney. Emilio John, Craney. They're working the ball as well now and are playing as a team as well as any club other than maybe New York that I've seen. I know Pittsburgh's having a tremendous run, and I haven't seen them, and I'm sure they're doing a lot of the same things. But this St. Louis club is very, very impressive at this point.
And they don't have all the natural skill that a New York team would have, and I haven't seen Pittsburgh as well the last 10 games, but they're using their talent very well, probably playing as close to their potential as they have all year.
And they're picking the right spot to do it because they've got to win every time out. Well, maybe not necessarily, but they want to get in the playoffs. They're going to have to win most of the remaining games. Gagarev, nice fake and a save by Delabar. Nice fake by Freddie that time. Lukic, a goal scorer today, his second of the year. Lukic, what a pass. That's good soccer. On the left side to Rose. Rose was in between making a shot on goal and giving it to Cuenca, who was wide open in the slot. Keogh with the intercept, bounces into the crowd. It belongs to Philadelphia. Cuenca's mad because the youngster he felt reached over and grabbed the ball, that it would have stayed in play.
Right. Here we'll see it again. The ball bouncing up, still in play, and the players, fans reach over and grab it, just want to get a touch of it. I can understand that. When I was in Yankee Stadium, I wanted to get a baseball hit by one of the big guys.
And
it does interrupt the flow of the game.
Sam Bick. Kyle, let's talk a little bit about the St. Louis defense. The next time all right, let's watch Reed now. Oh, Freddie Gagarev was frustrated that time. Freddie's had a tough go. Another shot by Gagarev and a save by Delabar. Last time we were here against Buffalo, Freddie had the same kind of a day, only he didn't score a goal that day. But he had a lot of shots on goal that just wouldn't go.
He's one of those players that takes probably more shots than any other forward in the league. And his team, as we said earlier, looks to him to score a lot of goals. Tony Betts that day for Buffalo played a tremendous game against him.
Tremendous. Sammy Bick bangs it off the glass, and Bick gets banged off the boards as well. Lukic staying on the ball. There, see, there's St. Louis. There's a 50-50 ball. Either player could get it, but St. Louis comes up with it. Now here's Bick wheeling. Oh, great effort by Sammy Bick. Great effort.
Yeah, I really felt Bick had been pulled down and would have been given a penalty kick. Obviously, I was wrong. But our referee, Joe Matchnick, was a lot closer than I was.
Here's Cuenca. Hard shot and a save. Ardenoff. All right, let's watch the St. Louis defense. We've been talking all day how they haven't given Philly room, but now let's see if we can pick up their strategy on defense.
Well, first of all, they're going to match up man-to-man. They don't necessarily want to pick up anybody with Freddie Gagarev. They're not playing man-to-man with Freddie in the sense of assigning one person to Freddie, but as soon as they get the ball, Petcher, someone's going to be close on him. Petcher is now given the responsibility as they steal the ball.
Oh, you know what? They're a strong-looking team. There's some big guys and physically strong, but don't let that fool you. They're also a fairly quick team. There's some speed there because every time Philly gets the ball and starts up, they outrun them. They outrun them and catch up with a guy and back check, which is a hockey term. But it seems that when they're on offense, they're all playing offense, Kyle, and when they're on defense, the whole club is moving much like the great Holland team in the World Cup, total soccer.
And I think the term you use, Jim, is an accurate one, back checking. Getting your forwards to come back and help out on defense because you cannot be a one-way player in indoor soccer.
Ray Flavecka, who was a former coach of the Cosmos and is doing color commentary this afternoon back to St. Louis. I had a chance to chat with him in the coffee shop, Kyle. And he said the big thing he sees is in the outdoor game, if you lose the ball, if you make a bad pass and you lose it, well, you can kind of recover. You stop and collect yourself. But in this game, he says, if you lose the ball, you know, there may be 3 guys knocking on your door the other way. I mean, you can't make a mistake. The transition in this game is so marvelous. It's I think, the inherent beauty of the game, Kyle, going from offense to defense.
And as our national team coach, Walt Chislewich, has said at times, he wants his players playing indoor because it puts them in pressure situations where they're having to make decisions and use skill. Many, many times during the game is St. Louis doesn't take advantage of that corner kick situation.
We have a minute 25 to play in the third quarter. It's been a St. Louis third quarter as it was a St. Louis first half. Gagurov, who has scored a goal here, gets away from Bellinger. Here's Freddie with that great skill. Lays it through to Levnak, but Delabar thwarted him. Now Kelly with the ball again. Kelly banks it off the glass. Man in front and just couldn't pull the trigger. Freddie's been there the entire game. He just can't get that one more step, that one more stride. Now a foul called against Rose. Checking that was Emilio John. Banged off the glass. Another shot into the crowd with 50 seconds to play third period. 8-2 St. Louis. They led 5-0 at the half, so they've outscored Philly 3-2 in the third quarter. Delabar has played a pretty darn good game. The last time we had St. Louis on, last Saturday, we had a look at Robeson, and he played a tremendous game as well. And an 8-6 St. Louis win over Hartford. There's Lukic coming off the ball. Lukic was trying to lead it for Sammy Bick that time.
Delabar has not played that much as of late for St. Louis. As Manny Quicken comes in and tries to get the ball from Artinoff. 2 other players, Paul Turn and Robeson, are the only 2 other goalkeepers in the stats. I don't really think that...
I believe Delabar was signed out of high school by the Cosmos, New York Cosmos.
And Delabar, who was an All-American at Quincy College, was part of, and you're right, he was from the Cosmos, part of a team that won 3 NAIA championship teams.
Signed out of college would have been more accurate. 7 seconds ago. Steve Reed touches it nicely to Kelly. They ran out of time. That's the end of the third quarter. St. Louis up 8-2. We'll be back in just a moment.
Welcome to our people-pleasing places. Good luck.
Holiday Inn makes me feel like a winner. That's why my team chooses Holiday Inn. No surprises. Beds always comfortable, always. Big rooms. And there's a Holiday Inn hotel near just about everywhere we play. Well, let's go call them like we see them.
You have to see them to call them. Holiday Inn is not.
So we see Philadelphia there getting ready, getting some instruction from Georgie O'Neill. And now the St. Louis team. Goalkeeper Eric Delabar there standing with the beard. Sammy Bick, Ukrainian. Pete Colico, number 18. We haven't seen much today. He scored a hat trick against New York about 3 weeks ago. Young man in his first year.
Graham, Emilio John, Keogh, Bick, and Petcher out there for St. Louis. And the goal, Delabar. Philadelphia going with Doc Lawson and Sheridan, Lemon, Fink, and Gagura. Petcher. Emilio John heads it down for the Fink interception. Now Lemon racing around Sammy Bick. Along the board, smothered by Delabar. There's the shots on goal. The only difference is that 8 went in for St. Louis and only 2 for Philadelphia. Lemon. Fink on the right side, Gagurov on the left. Lemon with Rose. Rose broke it up. And now the foul on Doc Lawson, pinning Emilio John against the boards. Wichita. Let's talk about that club. They have really played well of late. Wichita now quietly moved into second place in the Central Division. 12-12 behind Houston 14-9, and they're playing today. Wichita is at Houston. That'll be a big game.
Houston really struggling as of late and has a difficult end of the season road schedule. Wichita will have C2 players, Norman Piper and Jimmy Ryan, representing them in the All-Star game coming up this next week.
Cleared away by Bick. We're going to have Wichita on our game of the week next Sunday. Kyle and I will be there. Emilio John is scoring. Philadelphia had 4 men upfield. The only man back was Lemon, and it was like a practice session.
That's the best description I could ever give to it, Jim. Here we see John getting the ball on his left foot as he'll strike it with his left foot, keeping it low, and it goes between the legs of Pete Arnatoff into the goal. A lot of frustration by the goalkeeper there as he once again did not get much help.
9-2 St. Louis. Philadelphia attacking. Bellinger tries to clear it. A shot on goal. Now another shot by Sheridan. Cuenca. Manny Cuenca. What a nice pass to Craney. They've got Lukic trailing. See what Craney can do as he goes into the corner with Doc Lawson. You usually lose that one. Lawson now is fouled. Doc Lawson fouled. Doc puts it in play quickly. Good pass to Joey Fink. St. Louis televising today back to the hometown. And the folks in the Gateway City must be having a great time watching their club playing as well on the road as they have all year long. Oh, what about that Pittsburgh club, Kyle? Is that incredible? 10 straight?
Well, Len Billis, who coached last year and was brought to Pittsburgh midseason, has yet to lose.
Incredible. They're talking about clubs coming into the playoffs hot. And again, that's what happened last year. Houston was a clear-cut superior team through the regular season, the best record. But New York and Philadelphia were coming on strong at the end, and they were the clubs that met for the championship. And who knows? We could have a Houston-Pittsburgh matchup this year. Who knows? Although New York's got some other ideas.
And we've got another score in the USA-Norway game. USA up 4-1 in the third period.
Here comes Cuenca now. And now a foul call against Cuenca, fouling Doc Lawson. Gagura. Let's see what Freddie does with it. He has Watson with him, and he has Joey Fink. He passes to Fink. Fink's shot is knocked down. Punched out by Delabar. Picked up by Sheridan. Sheridan now plays it for Fink, who plays it nicely back to Sheridan, and what a goal! That's a pretty goal. That's one of the best goals of the day. And it's 9-3 Steamers over Philly.
Joey Fink really made the goal here. He held on to the ball, let Sheridan go by. Good give and go. We'll see it on replay. There's the pass from Fink back to Sheridan, who goes outside. Watson moves away, puts it inside the far corner to give Philadelphia their third goal of the night.
Nice camera work down there as well. Let's compliment our crew here from the Spectrum. Good ground level shot of that goal. And very good job on the slow-mo as well. St. Louis's lead now is 6 goals with 11:45 to play in the game. Keogh now has come out on the fly for St. Louis. Cuenca working with Sheridan. Pass intended in there for Keogh, broken up by Watson, thrown out by Ardenoff. Philly trying to attack. They're trying to get out of the zone. It's Lukic attacking for St. Louis. Sammy Bick hits it. Sheridan plays it to Watson. You see how they force him back? They're just not going to let him out easily. They're going to make him do something with the ball.
They've got another chance here.
On the battle, and Sheridan comes off with it, Kyle. Here comes Sheridan.
Sheridan still with the ball, loses it to Keogh now, who's being pressured by Watson. Plays it back to Delabar. Delabar up front to John.
Goalkeeper
Dangerous
Arnold.
play by Artinoff as he comes all the way outside of his own defensive area to kick the ball out.
I can understand why, though. The way his defenders have been protecting him, he says, the heck with that.
You become a little bit insecure.
Yeah, you do. That's a good shot of Pat McBride, the coach of St. Louis. You saw in the right corner of your screen. Even though he's up by 6, he's still yelling at his club to stay cool. Let's stay in this game. A lot of time to go, 10-20. In the third period, United States 5, Norway 1. Olympic hockey from Lake Placid.
They have a 2 red line pass called against Philadelphia. Really, the rule has been enforced and used to try to keep goalkeepers from just kicking the ball from one end of the park to the other.
St. Louis pressure. And now a foul is going to be called on Doc Lawson. Foul Graham. Frank Schuler, number 3, is in there now for St. Louis, another local kid. I had to sting a little bit. Emilio John really wrapped that. Rose to Bellinger. St. Louis is running like it's the first quarter, you know that? Talking about being in shape. Knocked away by Lawson. Kelly rolls it back to Artinoff. Time remaining, 9.5 minutes to play in the game. St. Louis's game so far, 9-3. Fink. And now to Kelly. Gagarev still in the game for Philly.
Good pass by Kelly into Watson.
Watson. Hard shot into the crowd. I think one of the reasons that Freddie Gagarev is in there a lot, I mean, apart from the obvious reason, he's a great goal scorer, the reason he can stay in there is that he seems to pace himself. But quite honestly, one of the ways he paces himself is on defense. I don't think that Freddie is so strong defensively, but you can't have it both ways.
No, not when you don't have any other goal scorers, which Philadelphia doesn't have. And when you rely on a man as much as they do him, as a coach, you would want him to let off some on defense. But you'll notice none of the St. Louis top scorers, not a Cuenca or a Rose, they play tough defense all the time because they know they can come out and be replaced by other adequate goal scorers.
All right, now it's St. Louis's turn to attack. Watson just knocked it away from Schuler, and the foul's going to be called against Watson. Philly bringing in Garber for Watson. Seems there are 2 big guys that they keep in there as much as possible. Doc Lawson on defense and Gagarev on offense. They're the 2 pillars of strength for this Philly club. They tried to get around Rose and just ran all over him. And they call obstruction on Rose.
Which is a good call, but I think Rose got the worst of it.
I think so. He's got some cleat marks in the back of his jersey. All right, here's Fink. Joey Fink now working against Sammy Bick. There are easier things to do. Garber missed it. Garber backs it off the boards.
Tremendous save by Delabar as he just dove to the space knowing the shot was going to be hit.
Nice work by Kelly. And just too many people to try to beat. Finally, Keogh stripped him of the ball. Here comes Sammy Bick. He's got Cuenca on the other side. Cuenca's in the slot. Sammy Bick gets it outside. Bad pass by Sam. Sets Philadelphia running. 3-on-2. Gagarev. Kelly on the right, Lovniak on the left. Gagarev shot off the mark. Can't tell you how many times Freddie's been off the mark by about 2 or 3 inches tonight.
And a 3-on-2 by Philadelphia turns into a 3-on-2 for St. Louis. One of the first times that Philadelphia has had a fast break tonight. St. Louis chasing back so very well.
7:22 to play in the game. St. Louis leading 9-3. Lawson for Philadelphia. He plays it up for Freddie Gagurov, who has a look around, sees Levniak on the right side, goes to Levniak. Levniak in the right corner now will be looking for Freddie. He gets it behind Freddie. And now here's Sheridan of Philadelphia keeping it in. Bumped by Graham. A battle there. Petcher touches to Cuenca. He's got Lukic to the left side, running 2-on-1 with Doc Lawson. Cuenca's pass. Out comes Ardenoff on the boards. They battle. And now, again, I'll tell you, Ardenoff is playing more like a fullback than a goalkeeper.
Well, he wants to touch the ball, which he hasn't had much of a chance to, even with the St. Louis shots.
All right, here comes Rose. The Pearl to Manny Cuenca. Deflected away by Steve Reed. Stolen by Lukic. Lukic has Cuenca, who turns, waits for someone to get in space, and that man is Keogh off the boards. Reed in the slot. Banks it. Anyone's ball. And here comes Philadelphia. Philly's got a 3-on-2 break. Reed takes the middle. Gagurov on the left side. They go to the right side. The shot on goal by Levniak is handled by Delabar.
Not a very strong, excuse me, Jim, not a very strong shot by Levniak, but yet St. Louis got back so quickly that they didn't have much of a chance to slow the pace of that attack down.
Three-line pass. Now, the thing about the three-line pass that you have to keep in mind is there is a legitimate three-line pass, but the ball has to be on the ground when it goes over that third line.
Right, as long as the ball touches the ground or a player in the midfield area, it will be a legal pass over those two lines.
Gagurov stripped of the ball. Freddie thought he was fouled. The referee says, no, you weren't, Freddie.
Excuse me, Jim, there was a good example of the ball hitting the ground between the two red lines, even though it hadn't touched a player. And the referee not calling our two red line pass, which is also called the three-line pass, which is also often called an offside pass.
Gagurov, Petcher watching him. Steve Reed's racing up the right side. Nobody saw him. Gagurov trying to do it himself. Schuler along the boards being double teamed, but he came off with the ball. Nice effort by Schuler. And now Sam Bick, St. Louis leading 9-3. 5:15 to play in the game. Emilio John off the glass. Ardenoff scrambles for it before Sam Bick can get to it. Interesting little pass there.
Dangerous pass. Good play by Doc Lawson.
And again, it's St. Louis with the ball. Seems like they always have support defensively. They always have another player around. Emilio John tried to bank it in front. Ardenoff just kind of screened him off the ball, off the boards. Steve Reed got around.
Good play by Stevie Reed.
Stevie actually stumbled that time. That wasn't Petcher knocking him down as much as Steve losing his balance. And it was a good no call by the official.
No, but Reed, I believe, has a cramp in his calf muscle. He's holding his toe, trying to extend that calf muscle. Yeah. Referee probably should call here in a minute.
Referee, I think he thinks that Steve is faking because he's told him to get up a couple of times. And now the referee blows his whistle. We'll be back with more MISL action in a moment.
Come forward. Is he going to be all right? He'll be taken care of at the hospital. Hey, Johnny, open that door. How is he? His vital signs have changed.
Nearly 500,000 young people suffer from childhood heart disease. That's too many. Too young.
Take him in number 12.
Jones, 5050.
Get the bloods up to the lab.
Jones,
1280 kg.
To help save young lives, give to the American Heart Association. Put your money where your heart is.
Onion type characters. I mean, really. I mean, some of the greatest, most bizarre, most colorful characters I've met in professional sports were trainers.
And Bruce Haynes for Philadelphia is one of those.
Yeah, really.
I think part of it is you don't get paid very much, and you have to love it. You're always called upon to do some of the crazy things, get ice at 3 or 4 in the morning for your players. and physical therapist, which Bruce Hain also happens to be. It's just a very physical, kind of loving, psychological relationship that you have with your players. And Bruce, his friendship with his players is just as important as his knowledge of medicine.
All right, Doc Lawson rolls it around the boards. Delavar handles easily. Sheridan, a bad pass. 2-on-1. Cuenca on the right. Lukic with the ball. Cuenca, good save. Artnoff denied Cuenca. Cuenca trying to finesse himself around Sheridan. It didn't work. Lemon, 3.5 minutes to play in the game. So St. Louis has come here to Philadelphia and won a very big soccer game. Good clearing pass by Rose. Saved the goal that time. 9 wins for St. Louis. And they're right in the middle of it.
You'll see it again in the corner. There's Grigurev. Always there.
Knocked away in front. Cleared by Rose. Here's Doc Lawson of Philly keeping it in. Doc, a shot off the glass. Cuenca. What an impressive game by this St. Louis club.
Are they all running for one another? They've got another potential 3-on-2 fast break if they can get the ball out. Lukic quick enough.
I tell you, Kyle, I think the playoffs are really going to be exciting because as the season has progressed, and there's Bellinger coming through, and he still doesn't give up. As the season has progressed, it is my opinion that 2 things have happened. Number one, New York has established itself as a class team in this league. And the other thing is that as the season has progressed, the 10 teams have become more and more evenly matched. Maybe excluding New York, which is the class of the league. But, you know, we've talked about the St. Louis club, which comes in 8-14, and you see the way they're playing. It's obvious. But what about Cleveland? 10-13. There's a club that has a lot of ability, a club that's coming together as well. The Pittsburgh club is going crazy with 10 straight wins. Detroit, a very dangerous team.
And the 2 front runners at the early season, Houston and Buffalo. Buffalo starting out 5-0, struggling a little bit. They're still strong teams, but they're human.
That's right. And, of course, the Wichita team we told you about. And then you might say, well, look at Hartford. They're 4-20. Well, you saw Hartford last week against the same St. Louis club in St. Louis. Down, I believe it was 6-1 at the half. And they came back and came within a goal and lost a tough game 8-6. So, again, the playoffs are anybody's ball game, and they're going to be exciting.
Well, even for Hartford, Morosco's having a hat trick. Rudy Ybarra scoring 2 goals while his team was down a man in penalty situations. So anything can happen in indoor soccer.
First round of the playoffs, the divisional leaders get a bye. That would be New York, and whoever wins it in the Central, and that's still wide open, although Houston leads right now. Any one of 5 teams mathematically could win it there. But after that first round bye, 2 plays 3 in a 1-game elimination in the park of the second place finisher. And after that, the number 1 teams will play the winner of that semifinal in a best of 2 with a mini game should each club win one scheduled for the first place finisher's ballpark. In other words, after the second game in their ballpark. And then a 1-game final. And that all starts, the last game of the regular season is the 9th of March. The playoffs will start immediately after that. And I think it's going to be wide open. I really do.
And we can expect to see the finals of the MISL on these same cable systems around the 23rd of that month.
Shot on goal by Sammy Bick, saved by Artnoff. We have 45 seconds to play in the game. So St. Louis winning on our national cable network, Madison Square Garden, UA Columbia Sports, for the 3rd time in 4 tries. They lost the first one to Wichita. And a header and a great goal
by Steve Petcher.
That's 2 goals for Steve.
So both Petcher tonight, who got his 8th and 9th goal. We'll see it on replay as the ball's in the corner. There's number 12, John, hitting the shot. Petcher out in front in the crease. Little diving header, rolls over himself, pretty happy. Petcher, a defender, getting 2 goals tonight. Bellinger, a defender, getting 2 goals for St. Louis. And it's put them up with an obviously unsurmountable lead, 10-3, with only 34 seconds to go in this game.
So Petcher now just about 50 or so goals behind Jungle for the scoring lead.
And we'll see both Petcher and Bellinger in the All-Star game.
Steve's going to get a lot of ribbing about it. He's going to be ribbing a lot of people about his goals. Emilio John, defenders love to score goals. And actually, he's had two pretty nice-looking goals here. Look at St. Louis. They're still coming on with 9 seconds to go. They lead 10-3. They're still attacking. And that shot just over the top by Schuler. Good chance by Schuler. 5 seconds to play. And the St. Louis Steamers have completely dominated Philadelphia's Fever. Fever will be 14-11. There'll be one game up on the loss column to 4th place, Buffalo. This is a good result for Buffalo because it keeps them in the playoff fight. Buffalo's got a couple of games to play in Pittsburgh, and that's not enticing. That's the end of the game here in Philadelphia. And the final score, Philadelphia 3, St. Louis 10. We'll be back in just a moment.
Look at that, Dad. A 747.
And that's what I'm flying. It's an L-1011. Want to have a look inside?
Really?
If you like wide bodies, you're going to like TWA. Because the only wide bodies we fly are 747s and L-1011s. The ones people like most.
Mom, we better get off.
Happy birthday, Tommy. We're going with Dad.
You're gonna like us. TWA. You're gonna like us.
When the only sound is the frozen silence of winter, you go to work. Clearing a long, thin slice of track through a land where nothing moves except you. And when you've finally thrown the last mountain of snow back into the sky, you can head for home and Miller time. Miller time. Time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller beer.
There's great entertainment on this week's Mike Douglas Show because teenage heartthrob Robbie Benson is co-hosting.
You're killing him, kid.
With one of Hollywood's finest actors, Jack Lemmon. Barnaby Jones himself, Buddy Ebsen. Actor-producer Michael Douglas. Recording star Herb Alpert. Actress Yvette Mimieux. Music with Hank Williams Jr. and the great Lou Rawls. Plus Hollywood memories with Greer Garson.
Garson's the dame who put the able in Gable.
And there's basketball superstar Magic Johnson, Archie's favorite girl, Danielle Brisbaugh, and longtime producer-director Mervyn LeRoy.
Mr. Mayor said to me, what do you want a song like that for, Over the Rainbow? It's silly. It's childish. And I said, so is the picture.
Who tells tales about Clark Gable.
I took him up to Mr. Warner, and I said, this guy is going to be great. Let's sign him. He said his ears are too big.
It's this week's Mike Douglas Show.
You are watching Channel 6.
Channel 6 is a service brought to you by General Electric Cablevision, serving the greater metropolitan area of Peoria, Illinois.
General Electric Cablevision now joins its regularly scheduled program In Progress.
Video magazine. And Paul, what can you tell us about them?
Nothing. Nothing? That's right, nothing. For a change, we're going to let our films speak for themselves.
Well, all right, we'll give it a try. Our first film comes from the Detroit Diesel Division of General Motors, and it's called No Time Out. This is a pretty radical way to do things, you know.
Oh, trust me and watch the film.
$10 million New Yorkers in the city and suburbs were in the dark, many without electricity for 25 hours. Why? Lightning